We're live, dude.
All right.
We're live.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Nobody is here.
Oh, hey.
But let me click on a banner that says, "Hey, I'm with Jerry McGuire." That says we're live. Oh, I'm using Sarah's laptop. There we go. There we go. So, Sarah, if you're listening out there, excuse me, send me a text so I know that we are live. Chris, we're just gonna like kind of vamp, I guess, before while we see who can show up or whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna leave that there. Although when we do that, which sucks, is it takes off our names. So I'm going to do that, and we'll see. I'm waiting for Sarah to send me a text. Hey guys, this is our second live broadcast. This is Star Wars from a certain point of view. Carlos and Chris. I'm Carlos. That's Chris. And we're going to do these shows every Thursday, and today's Saturday. I will tell you, right? I will tell you why we had to go live now, because I found some information, and it's pretty interesting. And what we'll do is, again, we'll wait like another couple of minutes for some more people to climb on here, and then, like I said, what we can do is we can do the show anyway, and then the show lives on the internet, and then people can click on it and check it out later.
Yep, totally.
But Chris, really quick before I go into the, I think this is Filoni'S plan. What did you think of the last episode? Episode 3?
Yesterday's episode, the third one that came out. What was the name of it? I can't remember that episode name, but I liked it. Yeah. So Bad Batch number 3 was pretty cool. I liked it.
Right.
Various things that there, in some ways, I liked. Actually, there were some ways that I liked 2 better than 3. I know you're going to think that's nuts.
No,
but
although, see, I'm interrupting you now. I apologize. Rewatching it with Sarah, 2 wasn't as bad as I first thought. So it's still my least favorite, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. But there were some elements I think I liked better in the second, but familiarity was one of them, because going back to seeing Cut again, I thought was pretty cool. But the third episode, really cool. Some neat things. You mentioned some things to me on Facebook, and I was like, what? And then I watched it again this morning, and I went, oh yeah, I take back what my comments were. So that was a lot of fun. It was really cool.
Right. Now, here's the thing. So where are you at before I tell you what I uncovered from the past? Where do you think we're going? What I liked about episode 3 was the whole clone trooper, stormtrooper thing, like the Kaminoans or Kamonians. How do they say it now? How do you say
they say Kaminoans.
Kaminoans. There you go.
They say Kaminoans.
That their whole plan of bringing up, like they got to think outside the box, and how are we going to keep our operation going? So where do you think we're at the end of episode 3 before I bring up what I found?
Well, I think it's pretty cool where they're moving in the direction of the battle between, or the concept of, should we use stormtrooper or conscripts, or should we use the clones? And then I love how the Kaminoans are saying, well, we got to do something here that really proves our point and makes these really effective. We need but the Jango Fett template is running out, and we got to have something new. Pretty neat. I think, I don't know if now's the time if you want to talk about it, or maybe later, but just how they said, well, what they said basically was, well, it's going to be a hard time because the perfect clones we have they're going to have difficulty coming back. And then she goes, or one of them says, well, we only need one.
And who do you think that is?
Well, see, at first thought, I went, oh, are they talking about Omega? Right. Which makes sense. But at the same time, I think it's Crosshair, because he's there, because the next scene cut to the clip where the new conscripts, the dark troopers or whatever they are, the gray stormtroopers or clone troopers, which aren't clones, are coming into their barracks or their bay or the pod, wherever they're staying.
Their old locker room where, yeah.
Crosshair comes down and sits down, and you see him, and he's just like, and the camera just kind of zooms in on him. And to me, they were like, he's going to be the new template.
So that new template would be Crosshair mixed with. So he's Jango, but he's
so he'll be like he is Jango, but he's the new template from which all the clones will be him, basically.
Okay.
Potentially. I don't know for sure. That's my guess.
Right. No, I label this as this Filoni's plan because, again, we're original generation. Me and Chris go all the way back to 77 when we were kids. We were probably 7 or 8 when it came out. And again, we've been in this since we were 7 years old. So we're old school. And so, we had to wait the 3 years between each movie. I know that's equivalent of, okay, boomer, right? Like, we had to walk uphill to go to school in the snow.
I'm not a boomer.
And here's the thing. Again, if you remember, if you listen to our podcast, which is the same, from a certain point of view, Carlos and Chris, our episode 1, we talked about the first time we saw Star Wars. Your parents saw it, they loved it, they took you to see it like a week or so later. I didn't see it for a year and a half. It's a sob story. Check it out. But in that year and a half, like I said, I read the storybook. I had the Topps trading cards and blah, blah, blah. So I was always reading my books and magazines. And while I was watching episode 3 last night with my wife, I was like, wait a minute. Ran to my library, which I have a huge library, and I have a whole Star Wars section. Pilfered, and I found it. Now, we are boomers, I guess, and Gen X, and, they're like, okay, boomers. So one of the new hip terms that they use is, we kept the receipts, right? Hey, I kept the receipts on that. And I was like, huh? And I get it now. Well, I kept the receipts from 1981. So check this out. Do you remember me showing you this magazine?
Oh, yep. I know exactly where you're going. You showed me this back in the shop, and we talked about this.
Yes, because I have 2 copies of this. One, because the first copy was getting destroyed. And the reason why it was getting destroyed, Chris, is because this came out in 1981. Okay, so this is George's world, George's canon. This came out in 1981, and again, hopefully, if you're joining us live, throw up a comment so we can see you, and blah blah blah, and we'll throw your comments up because I want to talk about this. Let me switch over to comments. This is we're learning this as we go, but I use this to settle many an argument on the playground because we would argue over Stormtroopers, and I remember I would tell my friends, Stormtroopers are actually clone troopers. Oh, Vector's there. Let's say hey to Vector. Hey, what's going on, Ronald?
Hey, what's up, man?
I would tell my friends. Buddy. Oh, what did you say?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. So hey, Ronald, how are you, buddy? Hello, everybody. Say hi. We're recording this live now. We're live right now, live. And once we terminate the broadcast, it will live on and we'll put it on the internet and this and that. But what I wanted to find, like I said, just catch you guys up. So I'm just going to keep going. And if you missed it, just watch this after we finish playing it. But I used to settle this argument on the playground in 1981. I was in 5th or 6th grade because the clone troopers, the first time I heard about clones was clearly Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, you fought in the Clone Wars, right? And it was like the Clone Wars. And then I remember reading 1981 that the Stormtroopers in the original trilogy were clone troopers. Whoa, where's my right? Like, let's take a second. Now, I label this as this Filoni's plan. I'm just a fan, again, original generation. I reread this and I'm going to read it. I think that Filoni clearly knows his stuff. Love him. Love Favreau. Yeah. They're digging deep, and I think they have something in this story that was originally presented by George in 1981. So what I'm going to do, let's see what Ronald's saying something else. There you go, right? So basically, sorry, I'm trying to do all of this at once. Let me take off the banner here so you can see us. So you can see it's Carlos, it's Chris. So this, again, when I was a kid growing up with Star Wars, the Stormtroopers in the original trilogy, Star Wars Empire and Jedi, were clone troopers. But here's where I think Filoni is taking it. And I'm going to read this and then we'll discuss it. Because check it out, Chris. I can't wait. My mind is freaking out, man.
I know, Mike. Wait for you, man. Tell me.
When I was a kid reading this book, which I'm going to read you, here's the receipt. It says each squadron of Stormtroopers, it was like, say there was 12 of them running through the Death Star, right? It was the main leader, squad leader, was the clone, was the human, And then he was cloned like 10 times. And that was his little battalion. It was like Carlos and my 10 clones, Chris and your 10 clones, Ronald and his 10 clones. That's how it was presented in the original trilogy, but we didn't really get that.
No one ever like said that.
Right. But that's how I always saw it, because again, I didn't differentiate between what I was reading, the novels, the comics, and the movie. I just assumed it was all, there was no such thing as expanded universe. And is this canon or is this not? It was all Star Wars to me, right? It was all Star Wars to me. So I think Filoni and Favreau, well, let's just say mostly Filoni, because I don't know, Favreau's probably busy on Mando, but Filoni is clearly the creator of this. So in this book, which came out in 1981, I'm trying to do all this at once. You can see it's one of those poster books, but it's called The World of Star Wars. So as you open it up, it then turns on its head this way. Oops.
Nope, not that
way. It turns on its head this way. Then you start opening it up. And like I said, I'm going to open it up to that part right now. And while I do that, I'll check comments again really quick. Sorry. There we go. So I'm going to open it up to that. Give me 1 second, because it is beautiful. And I wouldn't be surprised if Filoni has this magazine on his desk and he was like, oh, we're doing this. So give me 1 second. 1 second. One momento. Come on. We're live, people.
Hey,
Here it is. Here it is.
What we got?
Now, I have two of these. So this is going to be kind of slightly torn, but here it is. Here it is, 1981. Soldiers of the Empire. Okay, clearly Stormtroopers. We didn't know what clone troopers were yet, right? Here's the whole
Love
thing.
that picture. It's a classic picture.
Right. So I'm going to read this. And then maybe when we release the video, I'll put up the actual transcript of it. But I'm going to read this. Okay. So it says Soldiers of the Empire. Now think Bad Batch and Dave Filoni and what he could be doing with this information. Here we go.
Okay.
Stormtrooper origin. The creation of an Imperial Stormtrooper, a cloned man, is one of a group of genetically identical humans, an assembly line product. He is a thinking man, but he serves a specific purpose and no other. A clone has no mother, only his trainers, and he accepts his fate because he believes it is inevitable. A clone is physically and emotionally a normal man. He simply has no human rights and no name. He is the property of the emperor. Soldiers fully formed in the growth tanks quickly proved impractical. Scientists, anybody, right? Scientists found themselves the befuddled fathers of 160 pounds blubbering idiots. The fetus was now removed from the hatchery after a gestation period of 60 weeks and is delivered immediately into the hands of its trainers.
60 weeks. That's just over a year.
As a kid, Stormtroopers live like hardened cell block inmates, only barely under control, hundreds of nasty little orphans with only one thing in their minds, the sheer unparalleled joy of a good raid. These boys know that they are special and they strut with that proud arrogance of samurai. Their military education is picked up as naturally as an infant learns to talk, and any purpose other than their preordained future as commandos is inconceivable. By the time they are actually contracted into service, each trooper is anxious to fulfill his common lifelong ambition to wear the Imperial armor and to be carried away with the Starfleet until incredible adventure in battle. Trainees are generally devoid of imagination, but after years of rough talk and stories of conflicts lost and won, individual temperates will emerge.
Huh. So that's very interesting.
Whoa, right?
So that was Lucas's view all along?
This is, apparently from this came out in 1981. Now, it doesn't say signed by George Lucas, but apparently didn't they have to didn't everything go through him back then?
I would assume back then.
Like I said, as a kid, as a kid, like I said, I always remember using this as an argument because I would say the Stormtroopers were clone troopers. And they're like, no, they're not. And I was like, but I read it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, see,
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you read that to me a few years back now, it's been a while now. It's probably been like, 6-7 years. Whatever. When you read it to me, I went, huh, that's interesting. nah, I don't agree with that. And I just kind of moved on because, I mean, because in my mind canon, my head canon, and not what we call it these days, in my head canon, no way, man, they were different individuals, right? Because they were different heights, they had different sounding voices, everything was different. Although, it still makes sense because those squads could kind of get intermingled, and they're running around, and this guy and that guy get assigned to be on guard duty, and they're guarding the railless, the railless, wherever Obi-Wan raised, right? And in the Death Star stuff. So why not? I mean, I guess it's possible.
I think, again, you're not wrong. I think it was just, but I don't know how them clearly claiming that they're clones in printed form wasn't like at least gone through the channels. Like, I think if they're like, the clones are actually, for the sake of a better word, say they're all animated dogs. I think someone would go, wait, no, they're not dogs. They're all, children, they're all women, or they're all this, or they're all that. So I think someone would have said, well, hold on a second. So the fact that this made it to print, and that's what I always thought, and I know there's more out there, so I'm going to start doing more research about it. But I always thought that, but I didn't think they were all clones. And to your example, like this guy's shorter, this guy's taller, this guy's shorter, this guy's taller. I just assumed they were just different squads of one guy cloned, and that's why they worked well together, blah, blah, blah. But I think what's going to happen is, whether it's Crosshair or Omega or, Tonwi and all those guys are going to try to come up with something. Yeah. I think they're going to touch on something that has to do with this. I really do. I think it's going to do something where it says, again, let me read out one part. Basically, I don't think I don't think it's by accident that it literally says scientists found themselves befuddled fathers to these clones that are no longer going to be needed.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're trying to use stormtroopers and clone troopers. And now everyone, and the reason why I said, it's not clickbait. I'm really wondering if this is Filoni's plan. Like, is a stormtrooper, everyone's that I've talked to from the Bad Batch is like either stormtrooper or clone trooper. I think it's going to be completely mixed, and it's going to turn into the Empire.
Yeah,
that we know and love. And so I think, again, I just thought that was really cool. I wanted to share it with you really quick. I'm like, it's very easy to go live now with the new software that we have. Yeah. And I wanted to get your thoughts because you and me are Stormtrooper boys. But I just thought, again, this is from 1981, official Lucas release, and it's Soldiers of the Empire, wherein it clearly states that the Stormtroopers of the original trilogy were clone troopers.
All right.
So that's where we're at, guys. Chris, what else do you think about that? Because that just blew my mind. That literally blew my mind.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I think we'll just have to see where it goes. Again, it's what I grew up with in my mind, and it's hard to lose that. You know what I'm saying? But
not to interrupt you, sorry, brother. This has been in my mind since I read it. When I was a kid, and so I said, it's like you said, headcanon. It's like it's always been there, and I don't even know where did I read that from? Where did I read it?
Right? Yeah.
And while I was watching that episode with my wife, I went to my bookshelf and I grabbed it and I opened it up. I'm like, there it is. Yeah. I just don't think it's coincidence. And I'm holding this up, guys, just so maybe, I don't know if people are selling this on eBay or anything. I'm not selling mine. But like I said, this settled many an argument for me on the playground, and it's literally the world of Star Wars. So it's got Darth Vader stuff, Grand Moff Tarkin. Oh, there is Tarkin stuff in there.
Ooh, that'll be interesting. Like, I really like how in where they're going. I really like where they're going with the Bad Batch episodes, where Tarkin is like, I don't want the clones, I want transcripts or conscripts. So I like that. I think it's a pretty neat concept, And then what's the dude's name? Regis? What's the name of the lieutenant?
Right. The other like Imperial commander guy.
Yeah, and he's really pushing for it. He's kind of a younger version. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, he's obviously an important dude because he's really pushing for this, and they've brought him in to kind of make those decisions. So interesting.
Look at this one.
Wow, what's it say at the top? I can't. Oh, that's Stormtrooper. That is one of my favorite pictures of Stormtrooper
from Empire.
Iconic, right? When he's in the carbon freeze chamber.
Yeah, I'm gonna scan it really quick to see if there's anything else about.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's pretty cool how they're kind of developing they're showing how the Empire is developing, and he's like, "Hey, your chain code, idea is going well. That's a good thing." And it just kind of it shows how they're taking over the galaxy.
This also adds that Imperial stormtroopers live in a totally disciplined, militaristic world in which obedience is paramount and the Empire unquestioned. Their greatest ambition is to be promoted to squad leader, or if they are truly marked by destiny, to the elite Imperial guards who act as personal forces of the real leaders of the Empire. An Imperial stormtrooper is a single-minded, thoroughly trained, and totally obedient soldier. So again, totally obedient. We saw in that last episode where the elite squad was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Like, ignore the order. Ignore the order. The old man is wrong. There's a movie for you. But so it's not quite there yet, right? Because they are questioning the Empire and the orders and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, totally.
So they're kind of weeding them out. Let me see if I can find something on Tarkin. So here's here we go. Here is the Tarkin, the power behind the throne.
Wow.
I know. Man. So go ahead and riff real quick. Let me see. I'm going to scan this really quick and see if I.
Yeah, while you're scanning it, I want to comment. So I lost my spot.
Oh, keep going, man.
Yeah. So anyway, Tarkin. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Tarkin. I've always really liked Tarkin's. He's been a mystery guy,
right.
Tarkin was holding Vader's leash on the Death Star, according to Leia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's pretty cool. Pretty cool seeing the backstory and kind of learning more. One of my favorite books that was a canon book that came out was one of the first new canon books was Tarkin. And it really is pretty cool. It talks about how he became a Grand Moff, some of his exploits and the things he did. It was interesting reading a book from the perspective of the bad guy. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of cool.
Right.
And I don't remember how he became a Grand Moff, but I remember I liked the book. I got to read it again. Oh my goodness.
There really wasn't anything about Tarkin about anything like that. But again, I just want to hold this up to the guys. We're coming up on like 30 minutes. We're going to cut this really quick, but I just wanted to point out again that here's the receipt. The World of Star Wars, this magazine is vintage, came out in 1981, wherein inside it says that the Stormtroopers of Star Wars and Empire, Jedi hadn't come out yet. It was 81. Jedi got 2 more years away, right?
Man, that was a long wait.
Right. It says in print that the Stormtroopers were clone troopers. So my whole thing is I think Filoni and them are going this really cool way. I really dig it. And it's something, again, don't give me any crap, Chris, but it's something that the sequels slightly touched on because you were kind of seeing the opposite, like Finn and with the First Order and these. But now, so look at it. We started off as, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't thought this out loud yet. We started off with clone troopers being cloned. Now we're dealing with stormtroopers / clones. Then we're going to stormtroopers through the original trilogy. Then in the sequels, we're coming back to they're just taking kids and training them because they don't. Right. So that's a big narrative, if you will.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it's cool. I think it's all awesome. And I can't wait. And again, we normally go live every Thursday, guys, at 8:00 p.m. So we'll definitely have more stuff. I will definitely do some more research by Thursday, but please join us on Thursday nights at 8:00. And for the big top guys that are watching, also I'm working on a plan, Chris, because I'm sorry I just called you at home on a Saturday. Sarah had me doing yard work, and I was like, I gotta go do this.
That's what I was doing too.
Right. So here's the thing. I'm with the big top guys that are watching, Vector and you other guys. I'm working on a special thing wherein I'm going to do trivia for free Star Wars toys. So I'm going to hook you guys up that watch us on Thursdays from the Big Top crew. I'll explain it all on Thursday, but I wanted to go live really quick because I think, again, it's right under our nose. I think Filoni is a genius, and I wanted to get it out there because I wanted to get the conversation started about, what if they're clones and storms? Like that was the Empire. Like
clones and storms.
Right. So I don't know. I think it's awesome. Although I'm leaning against the clones and the prequels had a lot more individuality and colors, and I'm blue and you're red and you're orange and you're green and you're camo and I'm not. The regular stormtroopers in Star Wars Empire and Jedi, right? They were just stormtroopers. Now you saw squad leaders and you saw this and that, but it wasn't like the prequels, right? So I think they are going to filter that out. and I think Tarkin's going to get his Stormtrooper squad, but I still think they're going to be made up of clones. I think there's going to be a happy medium. So that's what I think. Anyway.
I'd be down with that. I'd totally be down with that.
So awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This is Star Wars from a Certain Point of View with Carlos and Chris. Love to talk Star Wars. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Saturday afternoon with us. The video will be up to rewatch, and check out the beginning so you can just get our take on Filoni's plan. We go live on YouTube every Thursday at 8 p.m. and our podcast, same name, from Star Wars from a Certain Point of View with Carlos and Chris, drops every Monday. So please check that out, guys. Thank you guys so much. Big Top guys, if you have any questions, throw me a message. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Everybody have a good night. Good night.
Looking forward to your comments below. Comment on the video. Thanks, guys.